Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this cute hot air balloon cake topper. So I've started off with a polystyrene ball. This one's 3.5 inches and I've just got some cocktail sticks and I'm going to try to mark the centre for the top and the bottom. So you want to pop the cocktail sticks in. If you turn it around you'll be able to see if it comes out of line, and once you've got to the point where when you're turning it, it looks like it's in the same place, then you should be in the centre for both. I've got a sharp knife, and what we're going to do is we're going to line the ball in half. So down one side and straight down the other. This is why we've put the cocktail sticks in, to help us stay in the middle and not get wonky lines. So you don't have to press too hard, you're just going to mark it in so that when it comes to adding the sections of the balloon, you've sort of got an outline there to work from. So once you've divided it in half, we're going to split it in half again to make quarters, using the same method as before, just straight from one cocktail stick to the other. You're going to try to match it up as best as you can. Obviously they're not going to be perfect, but it's not going to be something that you're going to notice much of a difference on. So just marking that in, and once you've got 4, you could stop there if you wanted to and just have 4 sections of the balloon, or you could then half everything again so that you've got 8 sections, which is what I've decided to do. So each quarter you're just going to split that in half. So that's what you should have when you've finished. I've got my 4 colours here. I'm just going to roll them out quite thinly. Now, the first one, I'm just kind of going to freehand a rough shape of what I think is going to be on the ball. And then we're just going to cut off any excess to get it to fit. Now, you want to try and get it so that it's just resting on top of the lines that you've already put on the ball. You only have to do this for one. It doesn't matter if it gets fingerprints or anything on it, because we're going to do this again anyway. So we're going to cut out another one of these. This one's just going to be your template. So you're going to cut around your template in each of your colours until you've got your 8 sections, or if you was just going to do 4, then just the 4 sections. Just cutting around each shape, trying to get it as close to the original shape without damaging your template one that you've got. It's up to you what colours you do. I just thought this was a really nice colour combination. I'll put a list in the description box below of what colours that I've used. So once you've finished, you should have 8 of each colour, and we're just going to, 2 of each colour, 4 in total. We're going to cover the ball in Trex, which is just like a vegetable shortening, and this is going to make the fondant stick. So if we start with the first colour and then line it up. Now you always want to be lining up to the top and making sure that the top section's as neat as possible. Once you've got your first 2 in, you should be able to remove the cocktail stick at the top. You want to try and keep it as neat as you can. The top will be visible. The bottom, we're going to cover that bit up with a bit for the hot air balloon. So it doesn't necessarily matter if that one's a bit not as neat as the top one, because you're going to cover that anyway. So as long as really the top centre of the balloon is nice and neat. If you attach it and you've got a little bit of a gap, you can push your fondant just with your thumbs just in place, and then trim any excess off. Always trim the excess off the bottom rather than the top. Again, it will help give you a nicer finish at the top of your hot air balloon. And when you are cutting, try to keep in shape with the lines that are already there. So you can add a little bit of water if you're having trouble with it sticking. I've used modelling paste for this because I wanted it to set quite firm and quite quickly. And the last section there, you can see I've got a little bit of a gap. And I'm just going to use my thumbs just to push those two pieces of fondant together. Trim off the excess from the bottom. And if you end up with a gap like I did, you want to push firmly but not too hard that you're going to leave fingerprints in there. Just warming up the fondant and then pushing it into place. Rub and smooth with your hands and leave it to rest. I've just got a circle cookie cutter. So now with some of the goldy fondant, I'm just going to cut out a triangle, and this is going to form the flag that is going to be on the top of the hot air balloon. A cocktail stick at one end and a little bit of water, and we're just going to fold over that edge to hide the cocktail stick. We're going to trim off the excess from the top, and then you're going to push in just to neaten up the back of it, and then just apply a little bit of a bend and leave that to dry. So for the basket, I've got some modelling chocolate. I've just rolled out a cylinder shape, and I'm going to roll out some thinner pieces of the modelling chocolate, fold it in half, and then you're just going to twist to create a kind of like rope effect. It's going to give us a really nice finish for the basket. You're going to need a few of these, and you're just going to cover your base in water and then just wrap these pieces around the basket. So once you've got to the top, you're then going to cover the top of the rope in water, and you're going to add some extra. This is so that when we sit the body in, the body's not just sat on top, it sort of looks like it's in the basket. I've got some skin tone Saracino, and I've just rolled that into a ball, and we're going to put in some little eye sockets with your fingers, and then just some deeper ones with a ball tool. A little blob for the nose, and then we're just going to mark in the mouth. So I find it easier to mark in the corners first and then to try join that line up. Now he's smiling, so you're going to put a slight curve to that lip line, and then just using the fatter part of your Dresden tool, you're then going to mark in the bottom lip. Now I mark it in and then I rub with my finger just to stop there being such a harsh line between what I've just marked in and the chin area. Now this is a baby, so it's got quite a round face. You're going to use your Dresden tool to push up the top lip also, and you're just going to play around with it until you're happy with the kind of shape that it's got. You can leave it as it is and start to work on other features and then come back and amend it if you want to. We've got two circles of white for the eye. We're just going to push these in and just use the ball tool to flatten these down. And then with a smaller ball tool, we're then going to mark in where the colours of the eyes are going to go. So the reason that we do this is because we want the eye to appear flat from the side. You don't want sort of like the white and then the brown, then the black, and then some more white, and it's got sort of like a stepped look to the eye. We want it to be kind of flush. So again, just the same technique as we did before. You're going to pop the colour in the middle of the eye, and then you're just going to flatten that out with your ball tool. Now I've put the colours of the eyes in the centre at the top, and that's to make him look like he's kind of looking up out of the balloon. Same technique again, smaller ball tool. We're just going to mark in the black part of the eye. We're going to push that into place again with the ball tool. You shouldn't need to use any water at this point. It should all just hold together by itself. Try to get them the same sort of size. Use your ball tool to push it into place and stretch it out if need be. So now we've got some small white dots, and this is just to make it look like the light is reflecting off the eye, and you're going to pop those in the same place on each eye. Next we're going to apply sort of like a thin strip of black, and this is just going to be to create sort of like a kind of like a lash liner, an eye socket, just to define between the eye and the skin around. So it wants to be fairly thin and just on the top. If this was a girl, I likely would have given her some little eyelashes that came out the side. Because it's a boy, I just went for the one line that went from sort of like the halfway point at the top of the eye. Smooth it out with your Dresden tool if needed. Trim off any excess and push it down. Once you're happy with that, we're going to pop on the eyebrow. So just some light brown. Doesn't have to be too shaped because obviously he is a baby. And you're going to do this for both eyes, so you should have something that looks like this. Next we're going to do the hair. So I've got some black and we're just going to roll out a flat ball and thin the edges. Kind of make a little cap for the back of his head. Now this is the back, so it doesn't have to be too detailed. Using a bit of water just to stick it on. Try not to put too much pressure on the actual face or the sides where the chin will be, because you'll distort that shape. I'm just going to push that into place, and then we're going to work on some hair for the front. So I'm just going to take a little piece and roll it into a triangle and flatten it, and then just with the Dresden tool I'm just going to mark in some hairlines. Check it for the size on the face that you've got, and you're just going to pop that on. Now I gave him a side parting, so you can see that's where I'm marking that bit in. Drawing some lines on the back of the head, a ball for the ear, and we're just going to use our paintbrush coming in at a downward angle just to mark that in. And then a little bit of hair for the other side, trying to keep that parting quite nice and neat. Just put some extra bits of hair in if you see that you've got any gaps. Again, you shouldn't need any water for these parts, they should just stick on. An ear for the other side, and we're going to roll similar shape to the eyebrows but a point at either side, and we're going to fold this in half, and this is just going to go on the parting. It just gives the hair a bit more of a natural look. It's just a little extra detail. You're just going to push that into place. So that's the face finished. You're going to check where you want it in your basket. Check it fits. Now I've got some of the blue that I used for the balloon. I'm just going to roll sort of like a fat sausage shape really, and we're going to pop that in the hot air balloon, and this is just going to form the body, and that's where the head's going to sit on. It doesn't have to be too detailed because you're not going to see it anyway. A cocktail stick through the middle, and then you're just going to slide the head on. It wants to be tilted up at a little bit of an angle, so he's looking up. And then I'm just going to put a cocktail stick in the back of the basket just to stop it from falling in. You can see that it's just sagging down a little bit, and that'll just hold it in place until it dries. So now we're going to roll a sausage, and this is going to be for the arms. You're going to cut it in half, check for size, and then we're going to cut at an angle, and that's going to stick onto the body. Same for the other side. Now 2 teardrops for the hands. We're going to cut a little triangle out for the thumb. We're going to do the same on the other side. And then with your ball tool, we're going to pop a hole in the sleeve, a little bit of water, and that's going to be where the hand sits inside. And you're going to pop that on in place. So here's what you should have so far. And you're going to leave that to dry. I left this to dry overnight just to firm up. Make sure that the sides of the basket are well supported while it's drying. I've got some rose coloured dust, and we're just going to pop a little bit on either side for his cheeks. just to give a little bit of colour. We're going to use the smallest cookie cutter that I've got and cut out a circle. This is going to go on the bottom of the balloon. You're going to just stick this on with a little bit of water. And then we're going to roll another fat sausage and just a little bit of water. And this is going to wrap around what we've just stuck on to form the bottom of the balloon. So you're going to cut off any excess. So that's what you should have so far. Pop 2 kebab skewers in the back. Now I've done this at the back, it'll just support the baby as well. Check that it's in the right place. Here's my cake. I'm just going to stick that in the middle and pop the kebab skewers so that they go in the cake. Now I decided to paint a number 1 on this one because it was for a first birthday. So I've just got some gold and I'm just painting that on. So I'm just freestyling it and getting a rough shape and then neatening up the edges. And this is totally optional. You could put a name on there, I guess, if you wanted. And then what I did is I got some glitter and just wet the number 1 and then just stuck the glitter on just to give it a little bit of sparkle. Now at this point I let it dry overnight just so that when I popped it on the kebab skewers that it was firm enough and that it didn't come out of shape. So just wetting the top of the kebab skewers and you're just going to slide that on top. So here's the finished topper and here's the cake that I popped it on. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please leave a comment down below, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. Thanks for watching.